If you haven't heard much about Peanut the squirrel or don't really know what is going on with this situation, it's not the insignificant story that you might think it is. There is so much more to what is going on here than just the death of a squirrel, even though, yes, little Peanut and little Fred absolutely deserve to be remembered. But let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. I do appreciate you being here, whether you are new to my channel or you are returning. I would love it if you would hit the thumbs up button. Also, make sure that you are subscribed and that your notifications are turned on so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we're about to have. If you've spent more than like 8 seconds on social media in the last few days, you've probably seen people talking about this little squirrel named Peanut, saying things like justice for Peanut and talking about the tragic death of this little animal and his buddy, Fred the raccoon. And you might be wondering why so many people are getting so worked up about this situation when we know that there are so many other things to worry about these days. And I feel that. But as I said, there is so much more to the story than just about the death of a squirrel and a raccoon, especially as we know these are the kind of animals that get run over by cars on a daily basis and eaten by other animals, probably by the thousands on a daily basis. So why should we care about these two specific creatures? First, let's talk about who they are, about their owners, and about how this all went down. And then we'll talk about why this situation is actually far more important than we realize. So Peanut was a squirrel owned by a couple named Mark and Daniela Longo, who live in upstate New York. They rescued him after finding him with his mom, who had been run over by a car. They brought him home, took care of him, and he became this beloved pet. And as they trained him and he adapted to life with a human family, he became an internet sensation as well, where the couple regularly showed off their daily activities with this unconventional little pet. Let's have a look at a couple of those really cute videos. This is one with Daniela, and I'm keeping it on mute because the song will hit my video with a copyright issue. So clearly just a cute little guy eating a waffle. And another one eating breakfast with Mark. He seemed to really enjoy holding these little signs. And this is Fred the raccoon, who apparently really enjoyed those little whipped cream cups from Dunkin' Donuts. Apparently, Peanut specifically had a very big social media following, and the income generated from Peanut's videos actually helped the Longos start their own animal rescue / sanctuary that they called Peanut's Freedom Farm, where they had helped hundreds of animals and used their resources to provide a safe place for unwanted pets. And just as a side note, I did recently learn that it sounds like they used this famous internet account that was dedicated to Peanut to also direct attention to their OF account, but whatever. The couple apparently have just had both of these pets for several years. People loved watching them, and this is the type of thing that actually brings joy to people's lives. Just sweet, innocent content where there's no motives, there's no agenda. It's just cute and fun, and it actually makes people happy. But apparently there is someone, or perhaps multiple people, who can't bear the idea of others being happy because there were complaints made to the New York Department of Environmental Conservation about the couple owning a squirrel and a raccoon as pets and being outraged about the idea of someone potentially breaking the law in this way. This is where the story gets really, really weird. Apparently in New York, they feel that the appropriate response to a complaint about small pet rodents is to descend on someone's home, ransack their home, question them for hours, and euthanize the animals in question so that they can be tested for disease, because we all know with the advancement in medicine in 2024 that you can't test animals for anything unless they're dead. Secondly, the amount of force that was used in response to this situation is definitely worth raising eyebrows over. The Longo couple said that about 10 agents showed up at their home, held him outside for several hours, ripped apart every room in their house, and essentially responded with the level of enthusiasm that probably we'd all like to see directed toward gang members taking over apartment complexes, trafficking women and children, and getting away with attacking innocent people. But let's listen to Mark Longo describe how this all happened.
Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers. He did every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called Peanut's Freedom Farm to help animals like Peanut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. And he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization. We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
I mean, does this seem a little bit of an overreaction to anybody else? Does it seem insane to anybody else? So first, the incredibly mixed up priorities of law enforcement and these government agencies, especially in this deep blue state, is on full display. This state has been overrun with illegal immigrant crime and gangs. Drug use is rampant. Homelessness is out of control. The streets aren't safe for people to even walk down anymore. The subway isn't safe. You could just get pushed on the track or punched in the face for no reason. And there is an entire theft economy that is thriving in this state because organized retail theft rings are targeting stores, stealing their merchandise without consequences, and making millions of dollars off of reselling stuff on places like Facebook Marketplace and Amazon. And nothing is being done to stop this. And yes, that is actually a story that I covered a few months ago. I'll link it in the description box below. New York has become known for its rampant crime and out of control illegal immigrant problem. And the state is paying billions of taxpayer dollars to address it, while residents are screaming at them to get the situation under control, even if it does mean deportations. Yet they just continue to throw money at the problem and pray that no one will notice how bad it really is. But apparently, when it comes to owning a pet squirrel and a raccoon, that's just too far. You've really stepped over the line there. What this really shows is that these blue state government agencies, when they want to address a problem, they have the resources and they can do it quickly and effectively. When you see things getting out of control and you live in a place like New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or Portland, just know that if things are bad, it's being allowed to happen. It's not because these officials can't do something about the crime or the lack of safety. They're just choosing not to. So really quick, let's touch on Greg Gutfeld's response to this because he was spot on.
They raided a house, antagonized a terrified squirrel, and when it bit them, put it down. Case closed. The city is now safe from one adorable rodent. Think about it. Did anyone during this raid just stop at any point and say, hey, wait a minute, this is stupid. This is crazy. This is nuts. Or was the whole thing just on automatic? As the old saying goes, just following orders. You know, we worry about the non-conscious thinking of artificial intelligence. Once it starts, you can't stop it. But meter maids, civil servants, and state environmental control officers are already there. And they're worse. They're just following the Democrat policy with the power of judge, jury, and executioner. Fact is, most people are not political until politics enters their lives. You could be completely disinterested in the whole thing, and then the government shows up to tell you that your kid's gender is fungible and your pets are expendable. It's like parents who never gave about anything more than homework and soccer practice until COVID showed up. And then they attended a school board meeting and realized the maniacs are in charge. Maybe we ought to thank China for inventing a virus that acted more like smelling salts for us and woke the average citizen the up. Now, I'm not saying Peanut's death just flipped New York, but you want to red pill America, raid their homes, and murder their pets.
far as these agencies that responded in this way, I think that is exactly the point. I also want to address the outrage mob that gets upset about someone having a pet squirrel, yet these are the same people who will tell you that it's our moral duty to keep these illegal immigrants here, or to allow doctors to trans your kid, or to take kids away from parents who don't want to permanently mutilate their child, who attack the police, and who think that killing unborn babies is a constitutional right. The people getting upset about the squirrel are not getting upset about things that are actually morally egregious. Lastly, when it comes to this mob, people are far too willing to jump on the bandwagon and take people down without any evidence, and far too willing to destroy someone's life without knowing if the target of their anger is actually justified. Yes, there has been a lot of speculation about who could have potentially made this call to the DEC. The reason I am actually going to share this person's name is because I think there is reason to believe that the person being accused and targeted all across TikTok is being unjustly targeted as the one who could have called in this complaint about Peanut and Fred. The person's name is Monica Kiesler, and I am not looking for any legal repercussions for mentioning her name, but the evidence that people have used to target this person is a screenshot of a screenshot that seemed to be made by a post that came from an account that was made like 5 minutes before the post was actually put up. And that was enough for people to grab their pitchforks and essentially ruin this woman's life. And I'm not going to share her picture because I don't think that that is necessary, but I do think it's important to recognize how quickly this spread, and the evidence has been flimsy at best. There have been video after video of people spreading her name and her business name and even her address, her home address and her phone number all over TikTok. And again, the only evidence that anybody seems to be able to share is this one little clip that we don't even know if it actually came from her. I have been following an account on TikTok who seems to be determined to actually get to the bottom of this. So let's have a look at what she's uncovered.
Let's talk about it. This is not Monica Kiesler. This is coming from a fake account. This is Monica's real account. So you can see she's following 4,000 people. She has 1,500 followers. She also has 8,000 likes, and she's had this profile for a few years. The profile that posted this is a fake account. So you can see there's only 4 people following, only 4 followers, only 6 likes. This is a baby account. This is a brand new account. So somebody made this. So this is a fraudulent post. This is not from Monica Kiesler.
And apparently this woman lives in Texas. So there have been countless people again jumping in with the outrage mob saying that we live in Texas and we don't claim this woman. It's insanity. There is reason to believe that someone may have put her name out there as the one who reported Peanut to get revenge on her for reasons that are unknown. But as I said, her life has been ruined, at least for now. It may turn out that she was the one to put this complaint out there, but whether it's her or whether it's someone else, it was a horrifying thing to do. And I hope the guilt of what happened to these 2 little animals sits with this person for a long time. But ultimately, the response by the government and law enforcement is far more concerning to me. I mean, anybody could have called about anything. Anybody could have made a complaint, but it is within the government's power, and it is their responsibility to take a deep breath and investigate a situation reasonably. And had they done that, they likely would have found that there was nothing wrong in this situation. The phone call did not make these officers do what they did. It did not make this agency respond with as much force as they use. You have to wonder what message they are trying to send and what example they're trying to make of this family by taking something away from them that was truly meaningful. Because if these kind of agencies can abuse the power that they have in this way, and this is how they choose to use the power that they have, that is a scary situation for the rest of us, because it shows that they're not interested in real criminals. They're heartless enough to let criminals thrive in our lives while they go after good people, and they don't even blink an eye at the idea of ripping something away from us that matters just to make sure that we know who's in charge. The whole situation is absolutely disgusting. The force that was used, the mob that mobilized against someone before even finding out if it was actually true, even the media pretending that the squirrel was MAGA and deserved to die. Yes, that's actually something that was put out there, but it's all incredibly disturbing. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.